welcome, welcome. Welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode of Leadership Tidbits. I am your host and leadership mentor, Tywauna Wilson. I am excited to have you here in the studio today in our virtual learning laboratory. So if you can come in, introduce yourself, and let us know where you're coming in from. So go ahead and do that. So we are excited to have you introduce yourself. Make sure you share this broadcast out with your network because you might be the key that opens up the door for somebody else to hear this message. So come on in. I do have some announcements before we bring on our mentor for today. So, as you know, it's Tuesday, which means another episode of Elaborate Topics podcast released today. So, hopefully, you've had a chance to check that out. Hopefully, you have downloaded it on directimpactbroadcasting.com or your favorite podcast platform. Today's episode featured co host Lona Small, and the topic was using mental fitness to overcome challenges to reach your potential. So it is right in alignment with what we're going to be talking about today. So, Steve, listen, we want you to be able to reach your potential. We want you to have great success as you end out 2022 and get ready for 2023. So, make sure that you check that out. So, without further ado, let's welcome our mentor for this evening, Ira. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Coach T. I'm super ecstatic to be here. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you here. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for pouring into my audience. I know that they're going to get some awesome tidbits from your talk. You are going to give us some great information about mindset and peak performance. So why don't you tell the listeners before you give them all of that? Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and where are you coming in from?
Yeah, coach, consultant, producer, speaker, chairman. I've done a little of everything, right? I focus on coaching entrepreneurs and CEOs to start their businesses and grow their businesses. I'm coming in from, I'm originally based in LA, so that's my home. Lately, I travel a lot, just with purpose. And some things I do for fun. Man, I work. I have a lot of fun working with people, putting them in position, getting them ready for their purpose, allowing them to step into their calling. And I think for me, that's my fun to see other people step into what they never stepped into before. So that's me.
Well, that's awesome. It's a blessing to be able to watch other people win. And as a coach, speaker, I can see you doing that. I know you have a huge tribe or a huge group on Facebook that you pour into each and every day. So that's exciting as well.
Yeah, it is exciting. I think you get to a point where you've gotten so much that you want to give back and help others get what you've gotten. So yeah.
Yep, there's that saying, to whom much is given, much is required. And so, yes, you do have to give back. So, before I let you take over the wheel and kind of, give our viewers what you wanted to give them some tidbits that they can apply right away, I do want to welcome Lona. So, Lona is my co host of Elaborate Topics. So, welcome, Lona. Even though you're driving, it's good that you're listening and focused on the road. So, Lona is in the Maryland area.
Welcome in, Lona.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will go ahead and let you take it away.
Let's do it. So, hey, what's going on, you guys? I'm super ecstatic to be speaking for the next few minutes or so. And so today we're going to be talking about the mindset that's needed for peak performance. Okay. So I want to encourage you guys to don't take notes, but just listen to understand and listen for the transformation. And as you replay this video, then go back and take notes, but just listen to understand and let the transformation set in. All right. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get into it. So The first thing you need to do in order to achieve the mindset for peak performance is you have to know that you're worthy, right? Like you have to know that the thing that you've been called to step into is the thing that's designated for you. I think at any level, whether you're stepping into a relationship, whether you're stepping into running a business, whether you're stepping into some form of mentorship, you have to understand your worth, right? You have to know that you are worthy to do what you've been called to do. So if you want to get into that mindset of peak performance, the first thing is you got to understand that you're worthy of what you're doing. Okay. So once we get into that worthy mindset, the second thing is you got to make sure that you encourage yourself as you move forward in what you're called to move forward into. You have to know that you have got to at times be your own encourager. There won't always be people that's going to be there to encourage you the way that you need to be encouraged in the moment that you find yourself within. And so as you're stepping up to your next level and you're looking forward to reaching your peak performance, you got to motivate yourself. You got to cheer yourself on. You got to tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. I may not feel like doing what I'm called to do, but I'm going to step into it anyway, because as I step into it, I just have to have enough faith to believe that is going to work together for my good. Okay, so we're feeling more worthy now, right? That was the first thing we learned. We're putting ourselves that I'm worthy of doing what I've been called to step into. I'm worthy to start the business. I'm worthy to be the manager at work. I'm worthy to step into the relationship. And now that I'm feeling worthy, the next thing is I need to encourage myself as I move forward. Because I'm not going to always feel like doing what I've been called to do. And once we get that mindset, because remember, this is all working together for us to move forward in this peak performance, to develop the mindset that's needed to step into it. The third thing is that you got to focus on the end goal. It's not good to focus on what comes up as we move forward to the end goal, because the things that we experience along the way to what our next level is connected to are oftentimes not things that we want to experience. Right? So you got to say, focus on the end goal. You have to have vision. You have to know that everything is working together for your good and that there is an end goal. And as clear as you can get on what is at the end of the goal that you have set out to achieve, the more you're going to not be focused on the things that take place in the midst of that journey. You have to know that it's a journey. You have to know that things are going to come up along the way that's not going to make you feel like completing the task that's at hand. But as you focus on the end goal, it'll keep you motivated to press forward. Okay, so I just want to do a recap because that's important as we continue to talk about it. So you got to feel worthy. You got to know that you've been called to do what you've been called to do. And now that you're feeling worthy, you got to encourage yourself along the way. You have to know that every day is not going to be a great day. You have to know that things aren't always going to work out. You have to know that the internet is not going to always work when you need it to work. You have to know that the relationship isn't always going to be as good as you want it to be. You have to know that the employee is not going to respond in the way that you need the employee to respond at all times. You have to be okay with that. And as you continue to press forward, you have to focus on the end goal. Leaders are visionaries. Without a vision, you will perish. Your vision is what inspires you. Your vision is what keeps you moving. When you don't have vision, you got to get clear on it. You got to seek that thing out. But sometimes we can't get vision until we press forward, until we step into the unknown, until we get into that thing and try to figure that thing out. The vision is a reflection of the need. And as we move forward into the new thing, not the thing that we did last year, not the thing that we did 6 months ago, as we move forward into the unknown, and into the new thing. And you know that thing I'm talking about, that thing that we don't feel like we can do, that thing that we don't feel like we're qualified to do, that thing that we don't feel like we know how to do. As we move forward into the unknown, clarity comes. All right? Revelation comes. New vision, newfound hope, it comes. And now we can see what we didn't once used to be able to see. The vision is forming, and so it's showing us what's ahead. It's showing us the end goal. Okay, so I'm feeling worthy now. You know what I'm saying? I know that I've been called to do this thing, so I'm going to step into this thing as who I am, as my most authentic self. And now that I'm worthy, I'm going to encourage myself along the way. I'm not expecting a great day every day. I'm going to expect things to break down, and I'm going to have a backup plan. Not a backup plan to get up out of my purpose, not a backup plan to get out of this thing that I've been called to step into, but a backup plan in case things don't go the way that they need to go as I'm moving forward. And I'm encouraging myself. I don't need nobody to encourage me. I'm going to encourage myself. I'm at a level of my life where I'm going to encourage myself because that's just how bad I want it. I'm the leader. You have to know that you are the leader. And as the leader, you've got to encourage yourself along with the people that you've been called to serve, along with the people that you've been called to encourage. And you just have to have enough faith to believe that when it's required, there'll be other people that will come and encourage you along the way. But don't look for that. You have to be in a mindset where you're going to encourage yourself. And as you're encouraging yourself, you're focusing on the end goal. I'm not thinking about what I'm going through in order to get to what I got to get to. I'm going to focus on the end goal. I didn't come in this thing to play. I'm here on earth for a purpose, with a purpose, and I'm about to step into it because as I step into it, I'm going to step in it as my most authentic self. I'm going to step in it worthy of the assignment that I've been assigned. And as I'm stepping into it worthy, I'm going to encourage myself along the way because I have the realization that everything isn't going to go the way that I intended for it to go. And the fourth way that we have to develop this mindset for peak performance is that you got to be in tune with yourself. I need to know myself better than anybody else know myself. I need to know myself better than my woman know me. I need to know myself better than I used to know myself. I need to know myself better than the haters know who I am. You need to have a solid understanding of who you are and what you've been called to do. You need to be in tune with yourself. You have to know yourself better than nobody else. You have to know that you are worthy of it. And as you know that you're worthy of it, you got to be in tune with yourself. What are the activities and the habits that you're developing, that you're doing, that you're building so that you can be in tune with yourself? Are you sitting down meditating 5 to 10 minutes a day? Are you starting to spend time with yourself before you spend time with the world? What is it that you're doing? What are you stepping into? Because I'm at a point in my life where I'm sorry, man, I can hang out with you guys later. Right now, I got to be in tune with myself. I got to be in a relationship with myself right now because I'm called to do something bigger than what I used to be called to do. So I got to get a solid understanding of who I am in the season that I'm stepping into. I'm not talking about who my mama used to know me as or my friends. I'm talking about who I am, the version of me that's required for me to step in and possess this thing that I've been called to step into. So I'm getting in tune with myself. If I got to block some people out in order to make it happen, let me do what I got to do to make it happen. But I'm going to get in tune with me. Yeah, that's right. Because I'm at a point in my life where I've been about everybody else. And now that I've been about everybody else, please allow me a few minutes to be about myself so that I can press forward with the strength, the energy, the motivation, and the power that I need in order to make this thing a success. So I'm worthy now. I'm not cocky. I'm not overconfident. I'm worthy of what I'm called to do. And now that I know that I'm worthy, I'm encouraging myself. I'm expecting things to not go right along the way. I'm expecting things to break down along the way. I'm okay with that. I'm putting backup plans in place. I'm putting things in position to stop the things that could potentially fall apart. And I'm focused on the end goal. I understand that things are going to take place along the way. Things that I didn't originally anticipate it. And you know what? I'm okay with that because I'm focused on the end goal. I got the vision. I got the clarity that I need in order to move forward into what I've been called to move forward. I'm in tune with myself. I'm at a point in my life where where I got to know myself better than my wife know who I am. I'm at a point in my life where I got to know myself better than my employee, better than my an entrepreneur, is better than whatever it is that you're called to do. I got to know myself a little bit better than what they know me. And the fifth and final way that we develop the mindset for peak performance is that you got to step into something that was dedicated for you. You have to uncover what was it that you were sent to earth to do. Not what they did, not what those you've looked up to, what they've done specifically. What were you called to do that's been dedicated for you to work that thing out while you're on the earth realm? What was it that you was called to do? Because once you engage it, once you figure it out, it's going to fulfill you in a way that it never used to fulfill you ever in your life. You're going to get a joy that you've never had. You're going to get a peace. You're going to be able to operate as your most authentic self. It's going to feel you in a way that you never knew you could be over. It's going to feel you in a way that you never knew that you could be fulfilled. So you got to step into what you was originally created to do before the foundations of the world. And as you step into what you've been called to step into that was dedicated just for you, it's going to fulfill you in a way that you never knew that you could be fulfilled before. You're going to overflow with a new level of joy. You're going to overflow with a new level of peace because you're stepping into something that you didn't know that you was going to step into, but it was already in position to put you in position before the foundations of the world so that you can step into it. And as we recap, I got to get in the mindset that I'm ready to step into peak performance. I'm ready to operate at my highest level. I can't play small no more in this level. I got to step it up. I'm called to be a leader. I know I've been called to be a leader. Let me read the books that I got to read in order to get to my next level. Let me watch the movies. Let me invest in the mentors. Let me get into the programs that's going to shift me to my next level because I can't play small in a big world. And I'm worthy of the assignment. I'm worthy of what I've been called to step into. And as I step into it, I'm not stepping in prideful. As I step into it, I'm not stepping in cocky. I'm stepping in worthy. Yep, that's right. I know my worth in this season. I know that I've been called to do something bigger than those that have been set around me. And I'm okay with letting some things go in order to step into my next. Yep, that's right. I'm going to let go of things that no longer serve me in the season so that I can step into the thing that I've been called to step into that's connected to my next season. I'm going to encourage myself along the way because I know that I'm going to be in some places, positions, and situations that's going to make me uncomfortable. But I have to know that it's working together for my good. I have to know that I'm going to continue to encourage myself because I may be going through hell right now, but this hell is creating the power, and this power is creating, this pressure is creating the power that I need in order to move forward into my assignment. And I have to focus on my end goal. And as I focus on my end goal, I'm staying in tune with who I am. I'm not going to lose myself in this process. What are my values? What are my foundations? What do I stand for? What am I not going to not stand for? I got to know myself better than anybody else because I was created on purpose for a purpose with a purpose. And as I start to figure out what that purpose is, it's going to lead me into a version that I never knew that was within me. I'm getting in tune with myself, spending time meditating, getting in my own presence before I engage the presence of others. And finally, I have to step into something that was dedicated just for me. I got to uncover what is my purpose, what is my mission, what is the bigger vision, what's my next, what's my destiny. My purpose may lead to my destiny, and my destiny is leading to my future. So where am I at in that process? Am I still in my career where I need to step into my purpose, or am I in my purpose where I need to step into my destiny, or have I reached my destiny and now I'm looking forward to my future? I got to get clear on where I'm at because everything is leading to everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's talk. And that's today's talk.
Whoa, well, that was really good, Ira. I really enjoyed that. So
So
you
good.
gave you gave some really great nuggets. I love that you said you can't play small in a big world because it's easy to play small. It's easy to play small, but you're right. As you step into your purpose, you can't play small. And so I know some of the viewers or listeners who might catch the replay of this, they're going to say, you know what? I do need to get in tune with myself and I do need to figure out my purpose, but I don't know the first step to do that. I don't know how. I know I need to, but I don't even know where to start. So where would you tell that viewer or listener that's like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it.
I would tell that listener, like, you've got to have the desire. Sometimes you're connected to a message that you resonate with because it's about to lead you into what you just listened to. Sometimes when we're resonating with something that we hear and for the first time we're like, wow, I think I need to do that.
Mhm.
Realize that realization is the first point to that listener. So if you have now the understanding that you need to step into your purpose as the listener, now go out and start researching how to find my purpose. Where do I go? What do I look for? My process is going to be different from your processes, and your processes will be different from others' processes. So get the desire, start the
Mhm.
research, and everything will lead you into what your next level is.
Wow, I think that's good. That's so good.
Yeah.
So I was reading through your bio, and I know that you have five privately held organizations, and you are traveling the world consulting and coaching. And you've been on this entrepreneur journey for a while. But when you first transitioned from corporate America to the entrepreneur space, were you always in this mentality of peak performance, or did that kind of grow as you embarked on your entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, the journey of peak performance, it was something that grew. It wasn't what I was, but I was at a level in corporate America where I was operating exactly how I needed to operate in order to step into what I was called to step into. Your current level, I tell people this all the time, your current level is preparing you for your next level. And when you reach that point where you feel like, man, I've learned everything in this role, I know I could potentially go further, but I just don't pursue it the way that I used to pursue it. I just don't feel it the way that it don't make me excited as it used to make me excited. That's how you know that you're getting ready for your promotion. And everything that you learned in that role will start to work together for your good, setting you up for the next role.
Hmm. That's good. And I think too, when you start having that, sometimes it's an indicator that it's time to move on. You could have stayed too long. So it's easy to be comfortable. And sometimes people, we want promotion and we want to move to the next level, but sometimes it could be difficult for people really moving into that peak performance.
I totally agree. It's a difficult thing, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And so I always tell people you got to get in touch with what you don't know. And lots of times, in order to do that, you got to connect with people that you didn't know you could connect to. You got to invest in the coaches. You got to invest in the mentors. You got to invest in the people that are in positions that can lead you to your position. Because your position, our purpose was created for us. It
Mhm.
wasn't created for our Curry can't do Coach T's purpose, and Coach T's purpose can't do my purpose. And so, if you get connected with those you resonate with that are operating in their purpose,
Mhm.
then ultimately it will start to lead you into where you're called to be led into.
Mhm.
For me,
Absolutely.
that's definitely what it was for me. I had to get connected with those I saw operating, and I felt called to reach out to. But the first step was awareness. I had to become aware that I wanted my purpose and more.
That's good. You had to become aware that
Mm.
you wanted your purpose.
Right? It had to be brought to my attention.
Mhm.
Someone, for example, someone could be listening to this and tonight they're resonating like, oh, wow, purpose. Let me look into that. And that's how the process starts.
Mhm. So you have this quote or saying or belief that true human potential happens when opportunity and hope meets. I like that. I really like that. Talk to us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a quote that's near and dear to my heart. As I've coached, an entrepreneurs and CEOs of companies, they needed hope. They needed someone to show them the way. They needed a process to be successful. And so I had the opportunity, but they needed hope. And I was their opportunity. They gave me an opportunity to serve them. And I gave them a hope that they needed in order to move forward into their next. And so I'm really big on that. It's so important that opportunity and hope, it connects, because
Mhm.
if you have what I need and I have what you need, there's an opportunity that I'm going to give you, and you now have the hope that that opportunity is going to work together in your favor.
Mhm. That's good. So, is that how you kind of view coaching and mentoring as well? I like how you piece that together, in that the hope and that opportunity, and sometimes you might only have one, but with somebody else now you have that match that's able to either get you started or get you moving to the next level. So is that how you view coaching, or is that kind of, I'm interested to hear your perspective around that.
So good. I think the way I view coaching is definitely opportunity and hope meeting. I think I give people hope as the business coach, and I
Mhm.
think they're given an opportunity to get the processes and the formulas and the wisdom that I have in order so that they can do what I've done, right?
Mhm.
And I think coaching is just a different name for mentoring. I think mentoring is a different name for teaching. I think teaching is a different name for really just helping people, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're called to do. We're just called to help people in different settings with different titles.
Mhm. I agree. So Lona said that she loved that you lead yourself first. Lona she's a coach, and like I said, she's my co-host on the Elaborate Topics podcast, and that's one of her big thing is core, getting to your core self and really putting yourself first. That whole put your mask on first before you try to help somebody else. And so build yourself up first, which is some of the things that she talked about in the episode today. So I think that's a big thing. So, in today's society and in today's generation, that whole notion of feeling worthy is a huge thing. So, sometimes that worthiness and feeling good enough and feeling like I deserve it is not always there. So, what would you tell a young leader, a new entrepreneur, whoever that's like, I have a dream, I have a purpose, I have a goal, and I know that I'm called to serve, but I don't know that I'm worthy of of the journey.
So one, it's imperative that you know that you are. But so one thing I struggled with at one point was worthiness. I struggled with mixing the two with pride and being confident, and am I too arrogant, and what will people think about me? Like, those are things. But I think I think the way that I started hanging with worthy people. you know, I started hanging with people who were doing what I wanted to do. I started to invest in their worthy mentorship programs. I started to watch, YouTube videos on how to become more worthy. But, I tell people this all the time, especially as a coach, without a transaction, there would be no transformation. This has been a key component to my success. I have always believed in investing in the thing that I wanted to become because it essentially shortcutted my success. And so there's so much that we can learn just by, just going online and learning stuff. But the true transformation occurs when the transaction takes place. When I go to Walmart and I buy a new, a, well, I don't buy clothes from Walmart, so I don't know why I'm saying that. But let's just say if I went to Walmart and I bought a new, let's just say Bluetooth headset, I make that transaction, and that transact it's going to fulfill me. I'm going to enjoy talking to people hands free on my phone. I'm going to feel satisfied. But let's just say if I went to Walmart and I stole it, I'm probably not going to have the same satisfaction. And so I like to use that example because it's a true realization of the things that you're investing in is ultimately it's transferring what you need in order to go to your next level. And sometimes that can be just time. You can use your time. You can transfer time. So yeah.
That makes sense. Definitely being worthy and encouraging yourself. You have to be your own cheerleader first, and you have to cheer louder for you that than anybody else will. So sometimes I know as I work with young people, that whole, nobody's cheering for me or they cheering for somebody else. And it's like, but are you cheering for yourself? Because it don't seem like it. And they like, well, I don't understand why other people aren't cheering for me. So, you know, how big a part do you feel like encouraging yourself play in your success and reaching your ultimate level of success?
Well, I think there are stages, right? I think when I was a child, I acted like a child. I did things that a child did. But when I grew up, when I became a man, as we grow and we go, we have to start to shift our mindset. So I don't want to discourage people from having cheerleaders because there are certain points in my life where I needed my best friend to cheer me on, right? I
Mhm.
needed my mom to tell me you can do it. I needed my sister to say, hey, I believe in you. But there comes a level where you start to enter into your next phase where you have to be okay when the cheerleaders aren't there. You have to be okay when they can't see the vision. The vision was given to you as the visionary, and the vision is a reflection of the need that's in the earth. And
Mhm.
as you now see that, you got to get attached to your vision. And as you get attached to your vision, it's going to work together for your good and those who you're called to serve. And I just would say that it is important to be your own cheerleader when you're moving and operating in a high level calling. That's key because now you're
Mhm.
called to lead others.
Got it. So, if somebody's thinking about, am I walking in my purpose? Am I walking in my calling? What are some signs or some clues that may be that I'm operating in my purpose? Because sometimes people, they may or may not know. They're like, I'm good at this, but I don't know if this is what I'm called to do. So, what kind of, tips, what kind of clues? Is it that I'm good at this thing and that means I'm walking in my purpose? Is it that I can't imagine myself doing anything else? That means I'm walking in my purpose. How would you, what would you tell somebody that's kind of struggling and is like, I don't know if I'm walking in my purpose or not, or I'm just doing something that I was trained to do and I do it well.
If you're questioning it, then you're not in it. You may be on the way towards it, but you're not in it. And I think you got to get something bigger than you in order to step into what you don't know how to step into. For me, I had to connect with my creator who created me for a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose in order to determine my purpose. So I had to pursue the God that created me. And I think that journey is a little different for everyone else. But I think it ultimately leads to that. God, what did you create me for? Why was I sent here? What is my purpose in life? And I think when you start to pursue God in that way, He starts to reveal to you not only those things, but He starts to reveal more of Himself to you in a way that you didn't think He would ever reveal Himself to you. And He will meet you at your level. So the first sign is that you're having encounters with God. He's drawing you closer. He's leading you more into who He is so that you can
Mhm.
discover who you are and what you were called to do in the earth.
I like that. I like it. So if you are questioning it, viewers, listening audience, if you are questioning it, it's probably not it. You're probably not walking in your purpose yet.
Trust me, you'll know. You'll know. You because you will know because it's not a doubt like you it's specifically designed for you. Nobody
Mhm.
can do what you've been called to do. You won't see anybody in the world who's done what you've been called to do. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. And we are all called for purpose and we all have our own people in which we are called to serve. So whatever your gift is, it's there, and there are people waiting for you to get in alignment and get into your purpose and into your vision. And so, Ira, I'm curious. I know that you pour into a lot of other people in your businesses and with your clients. So, what are you doing to keep your cup full, to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself in alignment with your goals and your purpose?
I have to stay in tune with myself. I think that's so important. I also have to be very careful with my inner circle. I have to make sure that the close knit people that are in my circle, they're people that I trust, people that I
Mhm.
know that I like, people that I don't feel like they're, going to do anything. There's a trust, right? There's a bond. I think for me, the most important thing is I've got to make sure I have a good circle around me. My mental state of mind is key. Like I've got to meditate. I got to spend time with myself before I step into the world, I've got to it's just very important that I keep my spirit, clean and free from distractions and things that could throw me off because so many people they count on me, right? They count on us to do certain things. And if we're off, now they're off as the leaders. So yeah.
Mhm. I think that that's valuable. So looking at your inner circle and making sure you take that time for yourself, making sure you give yourself that meditation time or that quiet time or that reading time, whatever it is for
For
you,
you.
making sure that you take that time. So if you have any questions, if you're watching live and you have questions, you can drop those in the chat. And we would love to hear from you. Thank you, Karina. Hopefully, I said that right, for joining. We appreciate it. And so, I'm a big reader. I love to read. I don't know about you, but do you have a book that you would recommend as you get in tune, get in alignment with yourself and encourage yourself?
Man, it's so crazy. When people ask me that question, I really don't know what to say. And I know that sounds so bad, but it's because I used to read so much that I feel like the book is now just in me, all the books. I went through this journey when I left corporate America where I would just read like 10 books a day. Like I was
Mhm.
literally just reading, reading, reading. And I think I got to a point where I had ingested everything that I needed to ingest to get the mindset that I needed to move forward into my next.
Mhm.
Thinking about a book, Think and Grow Rich, that stands out.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say Think and Grow Rich, but I know that's not really the one, but I would just say Think and Grow Rich.
Mhm.
I'll say that one.
I think that book is actually a great book on mindset. Most people think it's just about money, or how, it's about money. How can I be more prosperous? And that I look at that book more so like a book about mindset and really getting your mind, because there's a chapter on persistence. And so
Yeah.
one of my mentors would say, read the chapter on persistence and read it every day for 14 days straight. And if you miss a day, you got to start all over. And so, looking at that pattern, are you able to read it every day for 14 days? And if not, what is hindering you from being able to do that? So it was really more so about mindset. And if you find yourself kind of stopping and starting over and stopping and starting over because you couldn't finish it, then you're probably stopping and starting over in other areas of your life. So that was just a good example of, can you stay the course regardless of what else is going on?
So good. I also want to add Mindset by Carl, can't think of her last name, but it's Carl Dweck or something like that with a D. But
Mhm.
Mindset, it's a book called Mindset. I wanted to add that.
Awesome. So if you all are thinking about some holiday reading, and I love audiobooks, so you can get you listen to some of these books. or read them, whichever is your preference. But Think and Grow Rich and Mindset are great books for you to read. And so Karina did mention, she said, I feel like I have purpose, but sometimes I compromise my inner circle. And I think that probably happens a lot with a lot of us, especially as we have friends, we have people that's been with us on our journeys for quite some time. And sometimes it's hard to, at certain parts of your journey, everybody can't go with you. And depending on how long they've been on the journey, it's difficult to not bring them with you to the next step. So I think that's a great point that you mentioned. Did you find, Ira, as you started to leave corporate America and go out on your entrepreneur journey, do you find that a lot of people couldn't go on the journey with you?
Yeah, I had to let go of things that couldn't go into the next season, and I had to be okay with that. And I think as a leader and as you shift into that mindset, you've got to be okay with letting go of things that was connected to your last season. I think that's the first thing that I had to learn going on the journey of my purpose. Because your purpose was created specifically for you and what you're going to do, everyone can't go into it. Now, it does not mean that they're not going to come back at some point when you are established, but there are certain things that we can't do with our best friend for 20 years. There are certain things that we can't do with our mom and our sisters and getting their opinions, because those, they see us the way that we saw ourselves. They see us the way that we were. And oftentimes when we're stepping into our purpose, we need to step into the company of people who don't know who we are, and so that they can speak into us as to who we are to become.
Hmm. Yeah. There's this saying that people's memories are long. And
Yeah.
sometimes, however you were 10, 15 years ago, sometimes people don't want to leave that, even though you've stepped into a new season, even though you have changed. It's funny, sometimes you run into people and they're like, I remember when. Like that was 20 years ago. You still own that? So I think that's a good point that you make, that everybody can't go in every season of your life. They may come into a new season at a different time, and it doesn't mean that they were bad or anything like that. It just meant that that time it was time for that relationship to come to a pause.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, when we were in, high school and we went off to college. The colleges that we chose for those who went to college, everyone didn't go to the same college that we went
Mhm.
to, and it's just confirmation that life is going to take us on different paths. And as you step further into your purpose, you have to be willing to realize that sometimes everything can't go into what you're called to go into, but you got to be okay with it. You can't take it personal, because that's the
Mhm.
first level that you're going to have to master in order to really step into what you've been called to step into.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's a season. I know, being in the medical laboratory profession, people not so much now, and I think because it's kind of commonplace for people to not stay at a job for a long period of time. But maybe 5 or 10 years ago, when somebody would leave, it seems like the team behind would take it so personal, like it was a personal thing of me making a decision to go to another employer, and it has nothing to do with you. It's just my time at that place has come to a pause, and we have those seasons in our lives as well. So, Ira, some people are going to watch this or listen to this, and they're going to say, you know what? He is speaking my language. He is saying some things that I needed to hear. I love the practical sense of peak performance. So, how can people get and stay connected with you?
Yeah, let's connect. You can go to iracarry.com/get started. Follow me on, it'll allow you to follow me on all social media platforms, which is Ira Curry at Ira Curry Online. But I think most important than that, if you guys connect with me, join my groups. I have some free community online groups where you guys are more than welcome to join. But again, iracarry.com/get started, and at Ira Curry online for all social media platforms. I'm like all over. You can't miss me.
You have the coolest videos and stuff too. So you have great videos, you got great tips. So audience, make sure you get and stay connected with Ira. He's giving out tons of great information and tons of not just information, but giving you call to action so that you can get started and start moving into your next.
Yeah.
So, as we wrap up today's show, if you could leave the listeners or viewers with one or two takeaways, because we're all about giving people practical tips that they can use and implement right away. We don't want people to be just consumers of information, but we want people to actually be able to leave with something and be able to start putting it into practice. So what one or two tidbits would you like to leave the viewers or listeners with?
Number one, what's your why? What's your next? What is it? What is it that you want to accomplish next? And two, who's already doing what you're doing? If they're not doing what you're called to do, who's doing something that you look up to, you're inspired by? You think, wow, this person is. Step three, connect with them. Get connected, get involved, join their groups, join their tribes, get in, get involved in their programs. I think we're switching to a level where people they're not satisfied with what they were once satisfied with. They want more. They want purpose. They want something to fulfill them in a way that they haven't been fulfilled in a long time. So you got to look at the people that you're looking up to, and you have to say, realistically, what's a way that I can get connected with this person? Because if I could just touch it, if I could get in the room with it, if I could get associated with it, then ultimately it'll lead to my greater good.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was absolutely great. You have to get in a room. You have to get connected. There's something about that getting that energy from somebody else to keep you going, to keep you moving forward. And it, yeah, that old saying, birds of a feather flock together sometimes, and you just want to sometimes just be in the room to get a feather so that you're able to keep moving forward. Well, Ira, I really appreciate you coming and sharing with the audience. I know the viewers got something out of this. There was engagement in the chat. So I know that they were really pleased and happy that they landed on this podcast tonight. So thank you.
So good. Thank you for having me. This was great. Thank you.
Awesome. So, viewers, listeners, our time today has come to a close. I know it went by so fast, like they all do, but I hope you were able to get some practical tips from our mentor tonight, making sure that you get in, as I say, get in the zone, but have your mental health for peak performance so that you can operate in alignment with your values, with your purpose, and so that you can be there so that you can serve the people that you are called to serve. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in next time where we'll have another amazing mentor giving you some practical leadership tidbits that you can use both in your personal life as well as in your professional life. And until next time, my friends, I hope you have an awesome, awesome week.